When you're thinking about these founders and their one-liners, the way they tell their stories,
Yep.
how do you think about storytelling versus their employees to their VCs and to the market?
Yeah. So the narrative depends on who you're talking to. The narrative for VCs is different from the narrative towards users, is different from the narrative towards your employees, for example. When you pitch VCs, you actually want to throw some of these buzzwords, false narratives that I mentioned earlier, to catch their attention, to encourage them to get on a call with you, so you can expand further. Analogies and buzzwords can help for one-liners towards VCs, but your one-liner towards users is completely different. It needs to be extremely dumbed down, down to earth. For me, the best types of one-liners to users is it starts with a verb. What can you do? Like a verb, an action.
If you can't really sell your startup in like 3 or 4 words, there's something so wrong about what you're doing. And I understand it's painful. We go through this process with founders because they feel that their idea is being dumbed down when you say it's X for Y or something along those lines, because they don't want to be compared to X, right? But you do need to be able to explain to VCs and users briefly what you're building towards, right? In a way like movies do, right?
Yeah, I tell founders, you want your one-liner to be exciting, like someone is excited to hear what they just heard, memorable, so they can repeat it to other people, and accurate.
Yeah.
And that's the order, right, of importance.
Yeah.
And so when
it is an oversimplification.
Yeah, you have to. There's no way that you can condense a giant corporation and a grand vision into 4 words that can be remembered accurately, right? And to try to is a fool's errand.
But the second point I was gonna make is that often through this process of finding your one-liner and more broadly of telling your story, we've helped startups identify that they were solving no actual problem, right? And that was fascinating. Like someone is working every day on this product, and just when we sit down and say, okay, let's get you ready to pitch to VCs, and we go through this process and like, okay, so what's the story here? And they actually end up realizing, wait, my story is just so weak. Yeah. I should pivot out of this altogether. That was an eureka moment for me, seeing how helpful it was for some of these startups.